Hello, welcome back. In this tutorial, we'll be doing the Getting Started with Flutter Development Google qwiklab, which is a Google Cloud Skills Boost lab. In this lab, we'll learn what Flutter Development is and the basics of navigating through the development environment. Let's get started. Let me start my lab. So I've just launched my lab. So first thing we would do is basically set up our lab environment. So we would need to open our code server editor, which is basically a virtual VS Code. So we copy the IDE and then open a new tab and paste it here. Great, so our basic virtual VS Code IDE has been open. Now let's head back over here. So Flutter is a mobile app development framework, you could say, and it runs on the programming language Dart. The basics of Flutter is that it allows you to create a mobile app for both Android and iOS by writing just a code for Dart. So first task would be creating a Flutter template. So let's head over to our terminal section and click New Terminal. So this is the navigation menu, and then we'll go to Terminal and then New Terminal. This will open up a terminal at the bottom. And now we'll enter this command. So basically what Flutter create does is that, as we can see here, it basically creates a new sample application. There's a sample template for basic Flutter apps, and this provides support for many different platforms, including Android and iOS, as mentioned, but also web, macOS, and even some Windows applications. So let's create our sample application. Let's allow copy and paste. It takes a little bit, but it should be done fairly soon. So it is now creating our project. And great, so our project is done. The template has been created. Now let's go to our project directory. So CD means we're basically going into our project work area, you could say. And now we have entered our project area. And now we can close the terminal. So we can also type this exit command. So now we have basically created our project and went inside our project directory. So now to look at the actual Flutter code and our project template, we would need to go over to this Explorer icon. So you would click this icon, and we would open the folder, and we would open our startup namer folder. So this is the location, so you can copy the location, and you can click open folder, and let's copy and paste our location, and click enter, and we can say yes, we trust it. So this is our Flutter project, and let's enable support for Flutter and Dart, and we can close the rest. So this is basically VS Code, and to be able to run Flutter in VS Code, we would need Flutter and Dart plugins, but for us, it has been, I believe, already installed. So we can explore template code, and Flutter, as I mentioned, runs primarily in Dart, and the code is inside the lib directory. So this is the Dart programming language. It is a higher level programming language, and it is based on widgets. So you can see that there is a class widget, and basically widgets are sections of our code, and it is an object-oriented language. Let's head back over to our lab. So some things we need to take note is that our lab specifically is focusing on building a web application, not an Android or iOS app, but it can work for that. The pubspec YAML is another file, and I like to describe it as the file where you basically use other libraries, so other packages that are used for your app. So like if you're using Firebase, or if you're using special icons or other publicly available packages, which is available at pub.dev. Let me show you at pub.dev. And there's a lot of packages that are available specifically for Dart and Flutter apps. Now we will create our Flutter web application. So first, let's run our Flutter web application. To run it, we can run it from the terminal. So let's open our terminal. So we would go to our navigation menu, terminal, and you could do new terminal. And we would need to make sure our directory is startup namer. And since we cd'd into it earlier, we are in our startup namer directory. So to build a Flutter web application, we need a web server, and our application will be run in the web browser. And it'll also bind to a machine IPU port. So let's run it by typing this command, fwr. And now it's currently running on port 8080. So meanwhile, it connects. There's some nice features about Flutter. One thing is hot reload. So basically, if you change a bit of the code, it reloads in live, basically. So it allows for faster coding and faster debugging. So now we can, to test hot reload, press R. But to open our web application, we need to head over to our live server link. So it's currently being run over at this location. And this is our web application. And great, so it has loaded. And this is the demo Flutter application for any type of application, so iOS, Android, web. This is a demo template when you first create a Flutter project. And it's basically like a button increment counter. And to showcase the power hot reload, let me do a quick thing in our Dart code. So if we actually go over here and instead of changing the color to blue, we can make it green. So I'll change it to like another green. Now if we go here and type R, so we actually need to directly access our color. So we'll do color dark green. And now let's do hot reload. And we should see our Flutter application changing to a green color. Great, so let's go back to our lab. And we interacted with the application. So we actually already explored hot reload, but let's do something it says. So we find the title named Flutter Demo Homepage. So we can change it to Flutter is Awesome. So they said it's on line 25-ish, it's 27 for us. So we can make it Flutter is Awesome. And now if we type R into terminal, it should reload. Okay, and we have to save our changes, so Control S. And now we're going to press R in terminal, and if we switch to a live browser, the changes should be visible. Let's see, okay, and press Control R to reload the page. Great, and we see the changes we made to our title is shown, because now Flutter is Awesome is displaying. Now we can click check our progress to verify that we got this far. Now let's continue. Oh, well, that's it. Congratulations. So great. So just to recap, we have installed the Flutter and Dart extensions. We did that in VS Code earlier when there's a pop-up and we just clicked install. But if you're looking to install plugins by yourself, you can just go here and type Flutter. And for us, it's already installed. But installing Flutter also installs the Dart plugin too. Next, we have developed a simple Flutter web application, our demo template over here, and we have explored hot reload functions and tested code updates in our web application. So that's it for this lab, and see you in the next one.